Bloody hell, Harry.
Did Malfoy keep a dark secret? Were Ron and Dumbledore the same person?
I think I've known for a while.
And did Harry become immortal after defeating the Dark Lord? Of all the crazy fan theories, let's see which ones were confirmed and which remain a fantasy. Malfoy was a werewolf? There are a lot of crazy theories about Draco, but this one is certainly the most insane. Let's see where the fans even got the idea of him becoming a werewolf from. According to this theory, it happened somewhere between the Order of the Phoenix and the Half-Blood Prince. During this time, Malfoy's behavior and appearance changed considerably.
He looks different, don't you think, Draco? You must ill.
He seemed to be exhausted all the time. So some fans recalled one of Voldemort's methods of dealing with his enemies. He'd order Fenrir Greyback, a werewolf, to bite their children, and they assumed that Voldemort ordered Fenrir to attack Draco as a punishment when Lucius failed to deliver the prophecy. Could it be true? Actually, no. Rowling debunked this theory. Draco definitely isn't a werewolf, she wrote on Twitter. There was another reason he looked so pale and sickly in the Half-Blood Prince. He'd secretly just become a Death Eater and was struggling with the knowledge that he had to kill Dumbledore.
Don't you understand? I have to do this.
It was torturing him, so his transformation had nothing to do with becoming a werewolf. Thankfully, fans had more of a point with the next theory. Horcruxes. More Horcruxes.
This is beyond anything I imagined.
The mystery behind the creation of these dark objects led to a variety of theories, and one of them was confirmed. Pottermore revealed that when Voldemort inhabited Quirrell's body in the Sorcerer's Stone, he corrupted him from the inside, all because the professor was his temporary Horcrux. And during the time the Dark Lord lacked his own fully functioning body, he probably created more. He did it in the hope that he'd survive, find his accomplices, and be reborn. In the Goblet of Fire, for example, we see him in the body of what seems to be a baby. So it's possible that Voldemort was able to possess a child's body and get full control over it. And there's one more theory about Horcruxes, but it doesn't seem to be true. Harry affected the Dursleys.
What happened?
I swear I don't know!
We all remember how being close to a Horcrux affects a person negatively. Even Ron lashed out at his best friends after wearing Slytherin's locket for too long. And we also know that Harry was a Horcrux as well. So what if the Dursleys were so horrible to him because this part of Harry had a bad effect on them?
No way.
This theory might sound logical for those who like to see the good and bad people, but in fact, the Dursleys didn't need any outside influence to be cruel to their nephew. It's a known fact that Petunia hated Lily because she was a witch.
I was the only one to see her for what she was. A freak.
And Vernon was also quite an unpleasant man who despised magic. So it's completely logical that they never loved Harry. Besides, if the Chosen One had this kind of influence on others, why did his friends love him so much? At least at the end of the series, one member of the Dursley family changed his attitude, and it happened way before the Horcrux inside Harry was destroyed. The reason for Dudley's transformation.
Expecto Patronum!
An encounter with a Dementor in the Order of the Phoenix became a turning point for Harry's cousin. Being a Muggle, he didn't see the creature hanging above him, and yet he felt its influence. We know that Dementors cause someone's worst memories to come to the surface. According to a fan theory, for Dudley, it was the thought of how he bullied others, and eventually, this experience changed him. You can see in the books that from that moment, Dudley becomes more concerned about Harry, and even a deleted scene in the Deathly Hallows movie showed it.
I don't think you're a waste of space.
So, was this theory correct? Yes. J.K. Rowling herself even confirmed that's exactly what happened. My feeling is that he saw himself exactly for what he was, and for a boy that spoiled, that would be terrifying, she commented. Discussing characters' lives after the defeat of Voldemort, the writer added one more thing. Harry and Dudley kept in touch, and there was no beef between them. It's nice to know that the younger Dursley managed to change. But what if the whole thing was a mirage?
There's no such thing as magic.
We're not just talking about the Dementor attack or what happened next. According to another fan theory, the entire plot of all 7 books was only a hallucination. Harry imagined it all as a way of escaping the miserable life he lived in a cupboard under the stairs. He wasn't actually a wizard or the boy who lived. He never went to Hogwarts, didn't have any friends, and there was no Voldemort. It was just his imagination, a coping mechanism caused by the suffering he endured as a child. It all sounds really depressing. Thankfully, this theory was never confirmed, and we know that Harry actually got to defeat evil and live with the people who loved him. Now, let's move on to theories about other parts of the Potterverse. Azkaban was used to contain Dementors. A theory suggests that the prison was built to keep these ghastly creatures in one place and prevent them from hurting people. Pottermore confirmed that it was exactly the point and described how it happened. It turns out that Dementors were on Azkaban Island even before the prison existed. It was home to a very dark sorcerer who did unspeakable things there. After he was gone, the Ministry of Magic decided against destroying the place and instead built a prison on the island. It seemed to be a win-win situation for the government. Firstly, prisoners would quickly stop being dangerous in Azkaban, and very rarely would someone escape. And secondly, Dementors had souls to feed on, so they could be confined there. It all sounds pretty morbid, but it makes a lot of sense. Now let's find out if fans were right about this gruesome theory. The afterlife baby. After Voldemort Avada Kedavra'd Harry, the boy found himself in a strange place. It looked like King Cross's station. And under one of the benches, Harry found an odd little baby lying on the ground. It was mutilated and writhing in pain. Neither the book nor the movie explained precisely what it was, yet the film gave a subtle hint. The so-called baby had Voldemort's face. So fans quickly began to speculate that it represented the Dark Lord or his soul. J.K. Rowling confirmed that they were right. When Voldemort attacks Harry, they both fall temporarily unconscious, and both their souls, Harry's undamaged and healthy, Voldemort's stunted and maimed, appear in the limbo where Harry meets Dumbledore. That baby thing showed just how much the Dark Lord had damaged his soul through his actions. And what awful fate awaited him in the afterlife. Now we're moving on to one of the most insane theories about the wizarding world. Ron is Dumbledore! Yeah, you heard that right. Some fans assume that those two were one and the same person, and Dumbledore was essentially a time-traveling Ron. Let me explain in more detail. Apparently, a grown-up Ron decided to go back in time when he was a kid to become Harry's mentor.
Well, being me has its privileges.
If it still doesn't make sense, let me try again. The theory appeared because fans noticed that the two had some similarities. Both of them were tall and thin, and their noses had the same shape. Plus, we know that Ron had red hair, and it was revealed that Dumbledore's hair was red when he was younger too. Next, both of them loved sweets.
A lot. Earwax.
And Dumbledore once said that he had a scar on his left leg, while we remember that Ron broke his leg in The Prisoner of Azkaban. But more convincing is how Dumbledore always seemed to know everything about Harry. Was it because he'd actually lived through the events? No, it wasn't. The theory was at its peak of popularity before the final book was released. It revealed Dumbledore's backstory and his family tragedy. And then J.K. Rowling officially disproved it. But another theory about Ron was actually confirmed. And it's a sweet one. Hermione's favorite smell. In The Half-Blood Prince, Professor Slughorn showed students a variety of potions. One of them was a powerful love potion called Amortentia. What is particularly special about it is that it smells different to everyone. Each person would get a whiff of their favorite fragrances. When Hermione tried it, she smelled parchment paper, freshly mown grass, and
Spearmint toothpaste.
well, she was clearly embarrassed about the last one. So fans assumed that it was something about Ron, like the smell of his hair, for example. And later, Rowling confirmed that it was exactly that. The author had Ron's hair in mind when she was writing that scene. And she explained that if Hermione had revealed it, she would have shown her attraction to the boy way too early. And as if we didn't notice it anyway, right? Now, the final theory we're going to discuss is Harry is immortal.
I'm ready to die.
This one goes back to the prophecy. It says that either Voldemort or Harry must die at the hand of the other. Some fans interpreted this to mean that the only way one of them could die was for the other to kill him. And if Voldemort is no more, then no one and nothing else can kill Harry. He'll forever remain the boy who lived. But if it's true, it would be like a punishment for Harry, because it would mean that all his loved ones would die and he'd be all alone again. So it's actually quite a tragic twist for him. But neither Pottermore nor Rowling ever confirmed the theory, so it's safe to say that it isn't true. Phew. Do you have any Potterverse theories of your own? Share them in the comments. And if you want to learn more about your favorite Harry Potter characters, check out our other videos.